Hey folks, today we're here with Sherry Meader. Am I saying that right?
Meader.
Meader. Okay, I get it right. Sherry Meader. And we are in Red Bank, Tennessee at the park up here, a little playground park. But Sherry has a very interesting story and I wanted to share it with you. So welcome to the channel. My name is Casey. And it is a pleasure to have you with us today. If you haven't already subscribed, go down there and subscribe and hit the little bell over there so you'll know when we post new videos. And if you like these videos, please hit the like button. It helps our channel. Thank you so much. Now, let's get to Sherry.
Hi, I'm Sherry Meader. I drive for Swift Transportation, have for many years. I'm a mother of 3, grandmother of 4, and I took up ultra running about 15 years ago.
What is ultra running? A lot of people don't know. To me, it's just running. But what is ultra running?
Ultra running is anything over 26.2 miles.
At one time?
At one time, yes.
Oh my. So 26.2 miles you said, right?
Anything over it, yes. That is the marathon distance.
Okay.
I ran my very first marathon and I met a ultra runner and proceeded to go to his next race and run that, and been in ultra running ever since.
Well, what got you into the marathon to start with?
I had a daughter come home from school one day. She's like, "Mom, I want to run a marathon." I was like, okay, I'll sign us up for one. So I signed us up for the Huntsville, Alabama Rocket City Marathon. It was like 3 months away. And so I figured that was plenty of time to train for running a marathon. And so I got online and signed us up, and we started training. And I found out when I went to run that I couldn't make it from one telephone pole to the next. So it took me a month to be able to jog a mile.
Okay.
But so when race week got there, I had ran an entire 7 miles 1 week.
Wow.
Yeah. When I told the race director that, he explained to me how, you know, when I got too tired to go any further, how I could go up to an aid station and they would find me a ride back. But I finished, and I've been running ever since.
Okay, that sounds good. That sounds good. Funny question here now. You said you've been running about 3 years?
I've been running about 15 years.
Oh, 15 years. I'm sorry. How many pairs of shoes have you gone through in 15 years?
Quite a few. I went through somewhere between 7 and 10 pair probably on my run across America.
Run across America. How many times have you done that?
Just once.
Just once. That's a long run. How many miles was that?
Well, it should have been just under 3,000, but due to many technical difficulties in obtaining crew and keeping crew and pure logistics, I ended up probably having done about 4,000 by the time I got to the...
Is that right?
Position, yeah.
Wow. So when you say run across America, what was your starting point and your ending point?
I started out at Santa Monica Pier in California.
All right. You dip your toes in the water there?
I dipped my toes in the water. I picked up a seashell that I planned on carrying all the way across the United States, but I never saw that seashell again after I handed it off to my crew. One of the disappointing things was I could never find my seashell.
Oh, I'm sorry. And then you run across America, and where did you finish at?
Coney Island, New York.
Coney Island, New York. And you dipped your toes in the water there too?
I dipped my toes in the water. some people from Swift were there to see me finish, and took me for hot dogs at Nathan's, where they hold the big hot dog eating contest every year.
Okay, awesome, awesome. So, in this 4,000 miles, what states did you go through coming across? A lot of people are not familiar with the regions of the United States. They just know it's a big map.
Well, I might get this a little confused because I was confused when I was out there. Many times I told people the wrong cities, the wrong states, places that I wasn't ever even at. But I went through California, Arizona, New Mexico, caught a piece of Texas.
So you kind of went the southern route.
I went the southern route, although it wasn't necessarily the southern route that most people take.
Right, it wasn't down I-10, but...
Well, no, it wasn't even the southern route that most transconners take.
Okay.
That my guys were trying to make it as few miles as possible, because originally I was going for a record, so we didn't figure in things like stopping to get anything to eat or drink or places to sleep, because everything would be in the van and we would have the van to only crew didn't work out, so then I was out there on roads with no places
by
to
yourself.
stop.
Okay. All right. So you went through a bit of Texas.
Yes, a little bit of Texas, and crossed into Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm. Going north.
Correct. That's where I lost my third crew. There was a rattlesnake bite after we crossed in, and they were air flighted out.
Oh no.
So Oklahoma, then Missouri, where I jumped a lot of Route 66.
Okay.
And I went from Missouri into Illinois.
Then you went north.
Yeah, I was cutting across there. Illinois, Indiana,
Ohio. And then from Ohio, Pennsylvania, and then New York.
And then New York. Well, New Jersey.
Yeah, up through New Jersey. Yeah, down through New Jersey, and then into New York, through New York City. Then, and
yeah, I had to go over the George Washington Bridge.
Okay.
Most of the ways a pedestrian can get across into New York are on ferries and stuff.
Okay, but so you had to run.
So I had to go way north to get the George Washington Bridge and then run back down. So I could almost see where I was finishing, but then I had to go north. I was like, darn. I was looking at the map. Maybe if I could have just swam. I don't.
There you go. There you go. I mean, hey, they put an airplane in the Hudson, so.
And he did it well.
He did it very well, very well. So that is quite the run. You say you lost your third crew by the time you got into Oklahoma.
Correct.
So how many crews did you have altogether? And explain what a crew is.
A crew is the people driving the van, keeping track of me, supposedly keeping me alive.
Do they run with you at all?
No. I had a few people join me for a few miles, but I did have some, especially in Missouri. I caught several people who came out and ran with me.
Oh, awesome.
And
I'm sure you made news going across country.
I don't know. I was totally in my own little oblivious world out there. Every now and then I would see Facebook posts and stuff, but I wasn't even the person handling that most of the time. Okay,
okay. So from Oklahoma, and you lost your third crew, did you have any crew after that?
I had my daughter. My daughter Amanda came out in between crew number 2 and 3 for a little bit. And then crew number 3 came back out with me. They had to go home to get stuff because they hadn't originally planned on crewing me. They came out just for 2 days, decided they liked it, and came back only to be snake bit
and then disappear again.
And disappear again, yeah. Which I felt really bad.
Yeah.
It's like, but yeah, crew number 3 would have been great, and they wanted to go all the way across. They were absolutely wonderful.
Man, that sounds great. It
But
sounds
my,
like you had a good time.
yeah, my daughter Amanda came out and helped me for a little while. Then they came back out. Then she came back out and helped me. And then I was on my own for a little bit. And my other daughter Elizabeth managed to wrangle some time off work and came out to help me. And
So did they just pick the van up someplace and continue on, or?
basically, my daughter Amanda actually crewed. She would come out on the course with me and give me aid. My daughter Elizabeth, when she came out, she mainly just moved the van from one point to another.
Okay.
A lot of times she would pick me up and we would drop the van off like halfway between where she was and the hotel or whatever, so that I could stop at the van and take a nap and then make it into the hotel, and then we would go move the vehicle and
Okay.
stuff.
Leapfrog.
Yeah, she has a new baby.
Okay.
So, well, she's not new anymore. She's
Yeah.
like 10 months old now, but she had the baby to handle, so I didn't actually have her crewing me on the side of the road.
Okay. Okay. How long did it take you to run those 4,000 miles?
You know, I don't know. People on Facebook probably do. I think it was around 117 days. Mind you, I took 10 days or so off. I stopped in St. Clair, Missouri, I think, at a Casey's, and logged off all of my run stuff. Got in the car, drove it down to Tennessee to come do the Vol State 500K.
What is that now?
It's a 314-mile race across Tennessee. It starts in Darena Landing, Missouri, crosses into Hickman, Kentucky. We ride the ferry, and then we take off running all the way to Castle Rock, Georgia. So we get real close to Chattanooga here.
Sure, sure, on the north side up here. And then, so you drove down here and you parked your vehicle.
I parked my daughter was actually with me at the time. She was crewing me. She had her van. So we drove down, both of us. We parked my van at the finish line.
Okay.
And she took me to the start line. And she drove home from there. But she left me there so that I was running back to my van. We could have left my van at the finish line and I could have rode the bus with everybody else. But because I'd been out there running so long,
it's just nice to have a little personal touch.
Well, not only that, but I've been running for so long on so little that we were afraid of putting me in a bus with so many people and germs and stuff. So
That's true.
I didn't want to get sick to go back out to try and finish.
I don't blame you there. I don't blame you there. So you took the 10 days off. You didn't take 10 days off from running. You took 10 days off from running across the country.
Got my second fastest time at Vol State. So
wow.
I took it easy, but I did really well. This was a good Vol State year. The temperatures were good to us.
Yeah, I'm a little bit familiar with Vol State. One of my dear friends and her husband, he run Vol State for several years, and I went and picked him up one year with her. We went, and I drove she drove his car back, and he rode with me in the truck. And he kept saying, "Oh, don't hit no bumps! Don't hit no bumps! Oh!" But so I'm a little familiar with that. But that's really an interesting thing, and that goes on every year, correct?
Correct. I think I have like 11 finishes there.
Wow.
And my friend who you were talking about has quite a few finishes there. We have run many miles together, or just in front of, or just behind. I mean, we literally ran our very first Vol State. We met the very first night out on the course.
Wow, wow. Hey, that is Sal, by the way, Sal Cole. And I am going to be interviewing him at a later date. And so you'll get to see his stories of his running. And he too is an ultra runner. So now, you finish Vol State and you ride back to where you...
I jump back in my van and drive back to the Casey's in St. Clair, log everything back onto the run, and proceed to start running again.
All right. Then how you get your van from there to wherever?
Well, actually, I had another ultra runner.
Okay.
Who had done the Vol State course in the past and stuff. She came down and she crewed me for a couple days there.
Okay.
In my van, and then we parked my van at her house. She lives just over the border in Illinois.
Okay.
And so then I came back out on the course after that. I was out without my van anymore. So my security blanket was gone.
Yeah, yeah. And now what do you carry when you make all these big long runs? I mean, obviously you can't carry a 60-pound backpack with stuff in it.
I had a little Nathan backpack. I had carried the exact same backpack that I'd carried at Vol State, so with almost the exact same stuff. I mean, I had basically nothing out there. When I couldn't get to services, I had nothing. I was carrying a 12-ounce water bottle. That was it.
Wow.
So if I went 50 miles without hitting water, I went 50 miles without hitting water. I mean,
wow. Now, I imagine you run into all kinds of people when you're out running. And I understand that Vol State is really well publicized now, and so people are out there aiding and assisting.
Yeah. Oh yeah, my time at Vol State, that 6 days and something that it took me to finish the Vol State run, was paradise. I mean, anytime I ran out of water, just about it, I was coming into somebody's yard with a cooler set out for us with cold ice water and stuff. It's just amazing.
That's really good. But running across country now, you did some desert, I take it, out west when coming across, right?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. And Arizona was record hot temperatures. I went from desert into the mountains where I can't breathe, and
yeah.
So, and then back down into desert again. It was like, but it was amazing. It was beautiful. I saw a lot of snakes.
I don't doubt that none.
This was supposed to be a really good snake year, so
So then, let's see, we pick it up after Vol State, and you go back to Casey's, and you start running again, then you make it to Illinois where she parks your van.
Well, I didn't actually drive through the part of Illinois where she run through.
Okay.
Her house is kind of north. We left the van there. When we got to like the East St. Louis area,
sure,
I was going just north of that. Things got a little sketchy. We went back to her house for one night there because she was real sketchy over the river.
Okay.
I was like, I'll just run for it. She was like, no. There was a lot of interesting stuff going on, and it was getting late.
You know, it's too bad that you didn't get you a little GoPro as you run across country and at least log some of these interesting little things that happen along the way.
I almost had a GoPro, and everybody told me, no, you'll want your iPhone. You'll want to just use your phone. You won't want to carry two things. But yeah, the phone was a lot of trouble. The GoPro would have been right there. Yeah. So I would have gotten a lot more photos with the GoPro.
The only problem with the GoPro is the battery runs down. You know, so then you'll have to have a means to charge it and all that, unless you get you a solar panel, and they have them now, a little solar panel you put on your back, and it just charges everything as you run along.
I can tell you solar panels are heavy.
Yes, they are.
Even the little backup batteries, the ones you plug in at a motel are great. The ones that solar charge take so long and they're so heavy.
Really?
And I didn't want to carry 2 bottles of water.
Sure.
I mean, are you serious? I'm not going to be carrying the solar panel. I hate carrying anything.
I can understand.
I'm very lazy when running across the United States.
I can understand. So now you get across the river and what have you, and you're headed this way, and you get into Indiana, and now I'm sure you don't take interstates that take you straight across country.
No. I only had certain bridges where I could cross on foot.
Really?
So finding pedestrian crossings I would have actually diverted and go run Ball State as part of my course, but I couldn't find a way to do that without getting the Hickman Ferry.
Okay, so you had to get across that river somehow.
Yeah, and so up top was a way to go across on foot, so I had to go up there, and then there was just no way to divert in time.
So I'm waiting on this truck to get by because my microphone is not that good on this thing. So you get across, and then you come back. You're headed across Indiana, and then into Ohio, and then Pennsylvania, and then down into New Jersey. And New Jersey now I know is not a real big state to cross. It's fairly small. You can drive across it in about 45 minutes.
Yeah. I wasn't in New Jersey for long. I think 2 days total.
Okay.
So it wasn't long. Like I said, I spent the night at a motel really close to my finish. I mean, I could see New York City across the water, but I had to go like 10 or 11 miles north and then come back down the next day to get there.
Sure. I bet spent many a time in New Jersey, New York City, and around. So then you get over to the Atlantic Ocean and you dip your toes in the water. How did that feel?
You know, I got apprehensive before I ever got to the water. I didn't want to finish.
Just knowing it's coming to an end.
Yeah, I didn't want to finish. With everything that had happened and being stuck out there on my own, and I still just wanted to keep going. So then I, touch my feet in the water, and the Swift guys leave, and I go back out to put on my shoes, get the sand off, and put actual socks on, and I sit down. The water's one way, and I burst into tears. I was like, I had no idea where to go from there. I was sitting there at the pier with no destination in mind whatsoever.
You're done.
My friend Deborah, who had done all my Facebook stuff, messages me. She wants to know, okay, where are you going? Where are you going to spend the night? I'm like, I have no idea. She goes, well, you got to make plans. I'm like, I have no idea. It's like
How long did it take you to plan this trip?
Well,
what kind of planning goes into something like that?
It took over a year of planning. I had trouble coming out of California with the route. Coming out of LA, I got to a point where I couldn't find a legal road for me and the vehicle. And I had somebody finally jump in. I also couldn't do it backwards. I got into trouble in Pennsylvania. So I'm really good with logistics and planning. I mean, I drive a semi-truck, but the pedestrian
versus driving
and having to have it car legal and pedestrian legal. See, there's places where there are pedestrian ways, but a car can't be on it. And for Guinness, we were going for a world record to start with, had to be legal for both. So when we finally got out on the route, when we were following it backwards on our way into the start line, we realized we had an issue.
So did you drive it first, or?
We drove the very end of it.
Okay.
I drove out of Oklahoma and did most of the route back from Oklahoma towards California. To tell the truth, I figured I would be dead before I got to Oklahoma, so I didn't need to know any further north. I was like, That would probably be as far as I got. Like I said, I went out planning to try and break a record, so I was going to run as, you got a B.
Yeah, I noticed.
I was going to run as fast as I could, and I started out with extra days and really slow that B is after you again.
Yeah, you'll be all right.
And really slow mileage that I could do for the first few days, and I figured me and my crew would need to learn to work together since we hadn't trained together. And about day 3, things started going downhill with that. They were exhausted.
Okay, so you you planning your trip and you run it backwards, and then you say you run into a snag at the.
It's both ways. I couldn't stay going. I got to a spot where I either couldn't have the car or a pedestrian and couldn't figure out how to maneuver from there. So another Vol State runner, Patrick McHenry, jumped on board, and he mapped out my run for me.
Okay, that's great.
When we were driving it backwards, we realized that we had a problem in California, which he couldn't have anticipated, because on the maps it was really hard to figure out pedestrians, routes and stuff, and we actually had a gated reservation.
Oh, okay.
So it wasn't a legal place for me or the vehicle to cross, and so we knew leaving that area, because we diverted the run a little bit, but we diverted it onto a sketchy road that we didn't know if Guinness would consider legal or not.
Okay.
So we knew when we started that even if we made a Guinness record, they may not
have accepted that.
Accepted it. So
I see. I understand.
I don't know if it bothered my crew real bad. To me, I was like, we're just gonna go for it, and whatever happens, happens. You know, if we do it faster than anybody else, we'll know we did it faster than anybody else.
Yeah. Well, what is the fastest run across America? Do you know the?
She did it in 55 days something.
Oh wow.
Is what's down. The fastest male record is below that, but we were shooting for 55 days. I had everything timed out for 52. So, like I said, we had time in the beginning for things to happen and things to be missed and to not get in the mileage. So,
how many miles a day do you run?
Well, are you talking about what did I end up averaging over the?
Yeah. We'll just go with that.
I think I ended up averaging a little over 30 miles a day.
Wow.
It's like.
And that's not walking, that's running, right?
Well, most of it was a walking, especially after I lost my crew, because I had the backpack, and if I got too tired or confused out there, I had nobody with me to.
Now you have no radio communication.
I had my cell phone, but I had a lot of areas with no cell communication.
Service, yeah.
Deborah Saxton, my Facebook person, was also pretty much logistics after I lost my crew. I mean.
Now, do you have a GPS that you carry or something?
I had a tracker with me, an inReach, and one of the reasons I had to find a motel every day, at least once a day somewhere, was because I had to keep recharging that inReach so that tracker would keep going. It would only follow me for about 10 hours before the battery would run low, and I was carrying a spare battery, and I did learn to charge it and move. The minute you unhook the inReach, it shuts the inReach off. So it took me a bit to get used to the fact that when I could plug it in while I was moving, but I had to really pay attention to it, because if it unplugged, I wasn't being tracked.
Okay.
And we documented every mile.
So your GPS, it would shut down when you unplugged it, and then you had to get it going again. Was that a big deal to get it back up and going?
It wasn't a big deal, although I kept getting confused on how to do it. And I would have to have my iPhone up and working to make sure it was tracking, because the GPS thing will tell you it's tracking when it's not.
Okay.
So,
And you know, and that is important to have that tracker going out there, I'm sure.
oh yeah, I had people the minute they realized that I wasn't being tracked who were calling in to start with. The minute I went a little off my planned course, I got phone calls, especially when I was still under the record pace. I mean, there were people
Okay.
really keeping track of that.
Well, that's good. That's a good thing to know. You know, you're not alone, even though you're alone. Oh my goodness. So, took you 100. You said 119 days or something like that, and you took 10 days off in the middle. So that knocks it down to about 109 days.
Probably. Yeah.
Thereabouts, 110 days. We'll just say 110 days.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I started.
Thereabouts.
I officially started on September 1st,
Okay.
but my feet hit the ocean the afternoon before.
Okay.
Because see, for Guinness, it's the courthouse in LA and the courthouse in New York.
Okay.
So there was, and that's what the girl's record actually goes by.
All right.
So the two, I am including the 2 ocean days.
Okay, so you at least wanted to do the ocean stuff, and
Yeah, I
so-
wanted it to be an official coast to coast.
well, you can't get any more official than that. So, man, that is really something. Now, besides the Vol State and the Run Across America, and you say you've been running about 15 years. Now, do you just find these runs, park your truck, and go run, or how does all that work? Because I know you got to work too.
I have gone out for jogs and literally ran by 5Ks that were setting up in the morning, and paid my entry and ran races. I have gotten in marathons where I could get a last minute entry. You know, I hit a town and there's a marathon that weekend and I'm there. So yeah.
You must have a very understanding dispatcher.
Well, I don't ask for days off to do anything but run, really. So other people ask for home time to go see their families and stuff. I'm like, I'm gonna need off the weekend. October 11th, I'll be at the Boston Marathon. So.
Wow. Now, do you drive your truck up that way? Get a run up that way or something? Or
No, I'll be flying to Boston. I haven't even booked my flight yet because with COVID and I've had so much back-to-back stuff, I came here for the Ironman, which
she just finished Ironman and the triathlon right here.
I did not finish.
Okay.
I got pulled halfway through the bike course. Yeah, I don't swim. So I literally just did I think 2:18 swim, 2:20 is the cutoff. So I was the last person out of the water.
Okay.
And I got on my bike, and I don't ride a bike.
So did you have to buy a bike for this?
I bought a bike originally to learn how to ride for Ironman. I've had a mountain bike in the past, but I've been driving the truck now for I think I've been on this account for 14 years now, and I don't ride my bike.
Sure.
So I had to get a road bike for the Ironman, and I never got to really train on it. I put clips on it and shoes, and me and a pickup truck collided.
Really?
On one of my very first attempts at riding. So I have flats on there now, not the kind that you clip in, which means I had 40% less power than everybody else, because without your feet clipped to the pedal, when you pick them up, you're not, there's no power in the stroke. So, and I'd had the surgery on the left quad, so I was pedaling one-footed with pedals that I wasn't clipped onto. So
Sure.
I timed out, but I tried, and I now know how to shift my gears better.
Well, there you go.
Most people learn to do that before they actually try the triathlon, but then most people learn to swim.
Yeah. And you had the running part down.
Yeah, if I'd ever gotten to the run, that's what I told everybody. If I just get to the run, I've got it. When they turned off the dam in the morning,
yes,
they turned off the dam before the start. We had been watching the water flow. They literally turned it off, and then I think they waited for the water to become still before they let the pros into the water. So, and we had a pro division come in at the last minute.
Oh, okay.
So originally we were expecting current, and then they shut everything off, so there was no water flowing in. And I was on that swim line with people who we got the word literally when we were in line to get into the water. So I had people next to me going, "Oh no, there's gonna be no current." I was like, "There'll be a little.
There's got to be some current."
Some current. But yeah, the day before they'd had everything open wide, and we could see parts of trees floating down at high speed. We were like, "Man, we'll just have to
dodge this stuff."
Yeah,
like Frogger.
Yeah, if nothing else, put our feet up and hope stuff collects it, and then just get shoved down.
Wow. So in between running across America and doing the triathlon, you and Ironman, you had leg surgery, you say?
Yeah, I had a tumor taken out of my quad. I've got to have more done, but the doctor can't get it to heal. I have the burn scars are like bone deep. They're through the muscle and stuff, so can't get it to heal.
Wow. Well, it sounds like you have been extremely active the last 15 years or so, besides driving truck. And now, this is a question I always like to ask. I was a truck driver. Approximately, how many miles have you got in driving?
Well, I just got a million-mile thing on my phone to order a new truck.
Really?
So, yeah. I guess those of us in that group with a million safe miles or whatever, they're now personalizing our trucks. So.
Wow. What kind of truck you going for?
I don't know. But I've driven quite a few miles, and I'm on I've been on the Dollar Tree dedicated account now for maybe 13 years or so. Okay. So I get to hand unload every box. I get to touch every piece of freight.
Wow. Been there, done that.
Yeah, it's good heat training.
I was on Fred's.
A lot of people are like, you know, why would you do that? And I'm like, man, I get paid to do my core workout. Other people go to the gym and pay them. Seriously.
There you go.
I get paid $200 to work out in the heat.
There you go.
Get my heat training.
That's pretty good. How many miles approximately have you put on your feet?
Wow. I don't know.
We know 4,000, and how many times you've run Vol State? That's 314.
Yeah, I've got probably getting close to 3,500 there just at Vol State alone.
Yeah.
Ancient Oaks in Florida, the 100 there, I think I've done it 12 times now, so I have 1,200 miles on that course.
What states have you run in? I'm talking about scheduled runs, you know, like marathons and things like that.
Quite a few, even Hawaii. I flew. I had never been to Hawaii in the truck. Believe it or not, they haven't built that bridge.
They haven't got the bridge in yet, or a tunnel.
So I did a Rebel race down there and got to see Hawaii. So marathon-wise and stuff, I would say I've done most of the lower states. I haven't. With this run, I've cleared out a bunch of them running across America.
Sure. Sure.
I've seen a lot of Tennessee.
Tennessee, yeah, yeah. Do you get to drive truck on your routes that you've run occasionally, or?
Oh yeah, yeah. I always like it when I cross over like an area where I ran like the Mother Road. I did 3 Mother Road races across Oklahoma. They did them in 100-mile sections every other year till we had basically ran from side to side in Oklahoma on the Mother Road. And a lot of times when I'm driving through Oklahoma, I'll cross over sections of the highway where I did Mother Road, and I'll be like, oh yeah, I remember running through here. And
That's cool. That's cool.
I was surprised when I was doing my run across America. I slowed down at a museum to cool off and realized it was a place that I had stopped at the Mother Road, at one of the Mother Road 100s, and changed clothes at. I look up and this poor lady sitting in there. I go, I remember changing clothes out here. She goes, in the parking lot? Yeah, yeah. But we hit it just before dark, and we transferred from our wet daytime clothes into warm night clothes there.
Okay,
So,
okay. And I'm sure you've seen some interesting things in your runs. What are some of the most interesting things that you've seen that stand out in your mind?
you know, I was crossing a bridge in Oklahoma. I was on the part of the Mother Road, and I had a guy stripping off all his clothes, dancing on the bridge. I sent my Facebook person a message saying I didn't take a picture, but I just passed a naked guy on the bridge who, as I was passing him, I can't remember what he said, but it was something like, it's a glorious day or something, you know, and I was like, okay, and I waved and kept going. My daughter came over the bridge like 2 hours later. She was on her way to start crewing me, and she's like, Mom, the naked guy's still on the bridge. He's wearing boxer shorts now.
Wow, wow. I know as a truck driver, I've seen a lot of interesting things, so I can about imagine what you've seen just running across America and all the runs that you've made. Have you ever run in the northern states across the top of America anywhere? Washington, Oregon, or spent any time in those areas? Montana?
I have ran in Montana more than once. I had a race that was shifted in Montana that I didn't actually get to run. I got there, but I didn't realize they had shifted the race to one day earlier. Some people were protesting us being out there with the bears.
Okay.
So I didn't get an email. And the guy putting on the race was real nice. He sent me a whole bunch of, had me come in and got a whole bunch of hammer product and stuff. So I just didn't get an email. But I think I've ran 2 other races up there. I ran a little bit of the north. I like it when it's warmer, but
It gets cold.
I hate cold weather. Even driving the truck, I hate getting sent up there in the winter time.
Yeah, yeah.
They do know how to take care of their roads, though. Driving the truck, it's better to be up there in the snow than it is
Down
further
south.
down south.
I agree. I agree. I'm from Michigan originally, so I know what you're saying.
It might be awful, but they know what they're doing up there. You get into snow down in Louisiana or ice, and those people are just completely lost. It's like a...
Yeah, one. It's not really a run or a race. Something you might consider sometime. It's a walking the Mackinac Bridge on Labor Day, and it's a 5-mile walk. Well, it's 5 miles across the bridge. It's really about 5.5 miles altogether, but it's beautiful walking across that bridge. And that's on Labor Day.
I hit a lot of things like that just by luck out with the truck. I'll see people congregating somewhere, and when I get parked at my Dollar Tree, I'll go see what's going on. And I get a lot of like 5Ks and walks for like breast cancer and stuff that way, that I'll let you sign up last minute to do their...
Sure.
So yeah, I look for stuff like that when I'm out. I get on the internet and try to find stuff when I'm stopped.
Now you travel all over with a Dollar Tree and Swift?
I'm on Dollar Tree out of Marietta, Oklahoma.
Okay.
So I travel whatever area that Dollar Tree distribution center is working. Right now we're like going as far as Phoenix, Arizona, and we're doing part of Colorado, and it just changes every time. Like I guess about every 6 months, the distribution centers, we open a new one or something, and they shift the stores. And right now we've got part of Oklahoma we're not delivering to, and we are in Oklahoma.
Wow.
So
wow.
right now we're not heading east hardly at all. We're headed west and north.
So where do you call home?
Basically, Dollar Tree. I live in my Swift truck, and I am at the Dollar Tree most of the time, the Valero truck stop, or picking up one of my loads at the Dollar Tree distribution center, or I spend my time behind the Dollar Tree buildings, just me and the dumpsters, waiting for that door to open in the morning to deliver.
Well, been there, done that one. I understand.
People ask me where I live, and I'm always,
Wherever I hang my hat.
Where are we today?
I understand. I understand. Well, Sherry, I know you're busy. Are you headed home from here now? Home. Are you headed back to your truck from here?
Right now, I am truckless. Since the run, I haven't got back in a truck. I came in and
did you turn your truck in?
I turned my truck in before the run. My boss actually offered to try and hold it for me, and I told him, like, I'm going to be gone a long time. At the time, I was expecting 6-7 weeks maybe. Not like 4 months, but things happen, so I'm glad I turned the truck in. And
yeah.
I was like, no, the truck needs to keep working, and so, yeah, they got to get me another truck when I go back.
Well, you can order your million-mile truck.
I can, although it may take it a while to get personalized and in. I mean, as you know, since COVID, so many things have slowed down, and that includes vehicle production.
Yeah.
So I don't know how backed up they are on the freight liners and stuff, but
there's a fire truck. I can edit that out.
Usually you see another vehicle before or after them, but
yeah, well, this town is just one road all the way through, and then it's got little sprigs off it all the way. But well, Sherry, do you have anything else you'd like to add? Anything interesting that you've done before we wrap this thing up? And let me just say, I appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to meet up with us to do this.
No, I'm still working on that next big thing. I mean, I don't know exactly what to top this one with.
What's it gonna be? Do you know? Got any idea? Maybe run north to south.
I'm definitely planning to head across again in some way. I may actually try to get a group of people across.
Go catty corner.
I would probably take a much different route than I took on this. I don't know if I'll attempt the Guinness record or not. Again, I don't know if I'll ever want to try and do something where I've planned on crew. And I'm surprised. Swift not only sponsored me through the whole thing, but they stuck with me when time schedules fell apart. And they stayed with me the whole time.
Wow, that's awesome. But
I was proud of myself to be able to get my bike back on there last night. I called my daughter when I was trying to walk it to the car. I go, I'm going to have to stuff it in the car. There's no way I can get it onto the top. But I managed to get it on there. I was like, I was so dead.
Staying here in the Chattanooga area, are you shacked up in a motel, or what's going on with that?
I'm friends with a woman called Kathleen Wheeler who helped me out on my run across America. She put me up for a night and stuff. And
So you come through here?
no,
Oh.
no. I'm friends with Kathleen, and Kathleen contacted Karen here, who
Okay.
has a guest house, and she put me up in her guest house while I was here for the.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, so a friend of a friend, and
There you go. There you go. It pays to know how to network.
she has a very nice dog.
Oh, yeah?
Actually, I want a puppy so bad.
Well, it's kind of hard to have a dog and run and all that, because then you got to carry food and water for the dog, too.
Yeah, and the truck. I mean,
the
I
truck.
hand unload, so
Yeah.
I want a dog. I'm just afraid I would accidentally kill it. I mean, I wake up, I've fallen asleep before.
Mm.
And you know, you wake up and it's over 100 degrees outside, and you're sick as a dog when you wake up in that truck if you got it turned off and all the windows closed up.
Been there, done that.
I could see some poor dog just laid out.
Yeah.
Gotta have a dog I can train to wake me up before it dies.
There
Make
you
a
go.
phone call.
You need one of them, what do you call it?
Service dog.
Service dog, yeah.
So,
Yeah. They've got them now that can sense when a person's
Gonna have a seizure.
blood sugar goes down, or is they're going to have a seizure or something. That's amazing, you know. It really is.
Yeah.
But
Puppies are. Our company got rid of their dog policy, and just before I was going to get a dog many years ago, and I was kind of really upset about it because a lot of truck drivers taking the dog out for a walk is what gets them out of the truck for
Right.
a walk and stuff. And I was like, really, it's a de-stressor. It helps them get moving around. I mean, you wouldn't get out of the truck before you jumped in the bunk half the time if you didn't have a dog that had to get out of the truck.
those
before.
dogs actually are service dogs.
That's what
They're not classified as service dogs, but they're service dogs because they assist the driver.
Yep, I was glad when we picked up our pet policy again. I mean,
That's good. That's good. You've drove for Swift, you say, what, 14 years, 15 years, something like that?
I have driven for them off and on since they bought Missouri-Nebraska Express.
Okay.
That was before my youngest daughter was born, and I suck with ages. I think she's like 28 now or something.
So you've got 30-some years in driving truck?
Yeah.
How did you get into truck driving to start with?
I looked in an ad in the paper for air traffic controllers.
Oh, yeah, that's truck driving.
My husband said, there's no way you're going to come home one day and say you crashed 2 planes because you were mad at me. So he looks and he's like, truck driving school. I was like, okay. I was like,
He wanted to get you out of the
I
house.
think he still thinks it was somehow my dream job. But I got into it, and after I learned to drive the truck, I was pretty good at it, so.
Well, Sherry, thank you so much. We appreciate it. And I hope to see you again sometime that we can do another interview
Okay,
of some more adventures.
okay. Maybe you can catch me and Sal at the same time. We have some amazing adventures together.
That would be fun.
It's like, if you caught us right after a race, you could maybe hold both of us up and kind of feed us, because we're not really that capable.
I hear you. I hear you. Speaking of that, how do you get your food and nourishment crossing country like you did? Fast food?
It was tough. I did a lot of fast food. Luckily, I don't need much, so the occasional honey bun or something, and I was pretty good to go.
Get a little sugar.
Dairy Queen milkshakes were great. After I lost my crew, I basically fueled on pretty much nothing but sugar, because
Wow.
I just didn't have anything I could carry with me.
Well, thank you so much, Sherry.
Thank you.
Well, you have just heard from Sherry Meader. She's run cross country. Man, that's amazing. From coast to coast, water to water. She's talking about doing some more runs. That would be real interesting to watch. But anyway, until next time, hey, Poppy Casey here. Don't forget, subscribe, like the videos, hit that little bell so it'll go ding when a new video pops up. Thank you so much, and may God bless you richly.